You have to be really realistic when it comes to this legal industry and understanding where it is you fit in. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Misty Murray. I am a litigation paralegal and founder of Arrow Consultants. And in this video, I want to talk about the burning question that I get a lot of times, and that is, why a paralegal? Why not a lawyer? And I think a lot of paralegals struggle with that very same question, asking themselves that and defending why they chose to be a paralegal and not go into law school. So I'm going to answer that question today. And if this is something that you're asking yourself, then you'll definitely want to stick around for this video. I've divided it into 4 different sections on why I chose not to go to law school. Without further ado, let's get into this today. So just like I said before, I have broken this video up into 4 sections of why I chose not to go to law school. We're going to talk about time, we're going to talk about money, we're going to talk about licensing, and we're going to talk about growth. So let's talk about the first one, and that is time. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that it takes a lot of time to get through college and go into law school. You're going to be in law school for at least 3 years, and then you're hopefully going to get hired on at a firm. It took me far less time to get to that paralegal certification. Yes, I did go to college, but I didn't have to go to that grad school afterwards. I could have taken the LSAT, I could have gone on to it, but in 3 years of going to college for an undergrad of political science, that is when I chose not to go to law school. But, I don't regret that decision whatsoever. And speaking of timing, I feel like because I was able to get my foot in the door and start in the legal industry at the age of 18, I really felt like I got a jump start on my career and what I really wanted to do with my career. I took some time to figure out whether or not I wanted to go to law school, and I ultimately decided not to. But I feel like because I was able to, start at that receptionist position and then work my way up, I really got a jump start on my career. So that's the timing aspect. Okay, so the next item to discuss then is money. And I've got to say, and I am 40 years old, so, college was less expensive back then, but I left college owing about $10,000 in debt. And a lot of my friends who went on in their career and decided to go to law school, they left owing about $100,000 or more in student loans. And so I don't regret that decision and not having that big of a student loan, because when I was done with college, I wasn't paying that much per month in student loan fees. But speaking of money, let's talk about the income aspect of not going to law school and being a paralegal and not becoming a lawyer. Truth be told, I make 6 figures and I didn't go to law school. So keep in mind that I have been doing this for 21 years now. This January marks 21 years in this crazy legal industry for me. And throughout the 21 years that I've been doing this, I have become really well networked in this industry. And I've really diversified my portfolio. And I'm just not making money as a paralegal. I actually have 7 streams of income, and that is an entire different video all in of itself. But having said that, when the pandemic came, I wasn't solely relying upon my paralegal position to supply me with a stream of income. I had other streams of income going for me as well. So another video entirely, but when it comes to that salary, you don't necessarily have to be a lawyer to be making 6 figures or, to be making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. You just don't. I know lots of paralegals in Chicago who make that. That's a big city. It's an entirely different market than something that you're probably used to. But it's entirely possible when paralegals start to, really hone in on the technology skills, corporate paralegals, litigation paralegals, merger acquisition paralegals. Those sort of paralegals have a potential to earn a lot of money. And so you don't have to necessarily be a lawyer to be earning the type of income that you need. Okay, so let's talk about the next item up, which is licensing. Honestly, I can go anywhere within the United States pretty much and be a paralegal and do what I do. I love what I do. I can go anywhere and do it. I am constantly telling people to figure out a way to work from anywhere. And I think that that's why we're seeing a bit of a shift right now in a lot of paralegals going freelance, because it gives us that sort of freedom to be able to work anywhere. Having said that, lawyers are restricted. They have to be practicing in the state that they are licensed to practice. You know, they study very hard to pass a bar exam, and they get that in the state that they are practicing in. So if they are practicing in the state of Oklahoma, it doesn't mean that they can go and leave and practice in the state of Florida. It doesn't mean that they can remotely practice like that. They would have to go and pass that bar exam, and then they could go and practice. Paralegals can be paralegals wherever they are. That's kind of the awesome thing about this industry. We have more freedom than that. And having said that, I think that, you know, especially right now, there's a higher demand for paralegals than there are lawyers. We're just entirely more cost effective. And I think that paralegals will help to bridge the gap eventually. I think that we are working very hard to. I know it's a cause that I'm working for, but I think that we're going to help bridge that gap and providing more cost-effective solutions for lower income families. And so, I mean, I love being a paralegal, and I love having the closeness that I do, you know, with certain clients of mine. And so I just think being a paralegal and being in that role just provides us a lot more freedom to really diversify our portfolios and go beyond just the law firm and start to get more involved in you know, tech and things like that, and really diversify that portfolio and create more streams of income. I don't know very many lawyers who have multiple streams of income, you know, unless they're also serving as, you know, records agents or mediators or, you know, holding focus groups, things like that. But I know a lot of paralegals who are able to diversify their portfolio beyond the law firm. And so I just think that there's a lot more freedom in being a paralegal. Let's talk about the fourth item on my list, and that is growth. Honestly, as a paralegal, I found myself in the game much more quickly than a lot of new associate attorneys coming into the firm. I was upfront with, you know, working with clients. I was attending depositions. I was going to mediations. You know, I was preparing the attorneys for court. I was definitely going to court with them if I was going to trial. I mean, I was in the game very quickly as a paralegal, and I chose to insert myself in litigation specifically for that purpose. But I know a lot of associate attorneys who get hired on at a firm and they get stuck in an office for 5 years, and they're doing research and their names hardly ever hit a brief. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be stuck in an office like that. And I guess, you know, nobody puts Misty in a corner. So going back to what I was talking about before about the freedom of being able to sort of work from anywhere as a paralegal, I know a lot of lawyers who go into law school with the best of intentions, and they are fighting for a cause. You know, they're going to law school for a reason, but they're wanting to work for, you know, a not-for-profit or something like that. But the fact is, that's just not what happens when you're done with law school. That's probably not where you're going to end up. And, you know, frankly, if you've got a $100,000 loan when you're leaving law school, working for a not-for-profit just isn't going to pay the bills. It's not even going to pay your student loan bill, let alone any other bills that you have. So I know someone in particular who went to law school with the best of intentions, and, you know, she did fabulously going through law school, and she wanted to work for a cause, and that's not what happened. She is, I believe, a divorce attorney right now, and I'm not sure how happy she is in her career, but I know it's not what she wanted to do, but I'm pretty sure it pays the student loan bill. So you have to really think about that. As a paralegal, I felt like I was able to get in the area of law that I wanted to be in a lot quicker than what I saw attorneys getting hired on at firm, they were able to move. So I really felt like my growth as a paralegal almost surpassed a lot of, attorneys that I knew, simply because there weren't any of these restrictions in place. It was easier for me, to move in my career. It was easier for me to rise in my career. I really networked, diversified that portfolio. But you have to be really realistic when it comes to this legal industry and understanding where it is you fit in and how you get to that point and what sacrifices you have to make as a result of that decision. Ultimately, I never regretted my decision on not going to law school. I absolutely love what I do, and I have made very strategic decisions over the course of my 21 years to be exactly where I am today. Again, I love what I do. I love who I do it for. The attorneys that I work with don't necessarily treat me like a paralegal. They treat me like a colleague. I'm not a staff member. I'm a team member. And that's just part of changing the culture of this industry. But I found an area of law that is extremely special to me. And I love working with the people that I, work with. And so I think that because I'm able to really define why I'm here, the cause that I'm working for, it's not that hard of a decision for me to, be a paralegal and not go on to be a lawyer. Frankly, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about the money for me. It's always been about the cause. It has always been about the person that I'm fighting for. This video right up here talks about my path to being the paralegal that I am today. I started out in defense, and I'm not in defense today because that just wasn't where I needed to be. I needed to be fighting for the little person, I guess, if you will, and not the man. And so if you're in this industry and you're struggling with, where you're at, then you need to step back and remember why you came here and what brought you to this legal industry. Was it the people? Was it the cause? Do you need to go forward and spend that money and go to law school? That decision is up to you, but you've got to be happy with that decision. And I know a lot of people who have gone to law school and entered the legal industry as lawyers, and they were not happy with the decision in the end. Maybe it's something that their parents wanted them to do and they chose to do it. I know someone who decided to not take the bar exam at all after going through law school and instead decided to be a corporate real estate agent. And he's super happy with the decision that he chose. Those are the reasons why I chose not to go to law school, not to be a lawyer, and to continue to be a paralegal. I've never regretted that decision. I absolutely love what I do. Now, that's not to say that it's not hard. It was definitely hard to get where I am today, and it's hard to stay where I am today. It's not without struggle. I struggle just like everybody else, but I know what I'm struggling for. I know exactly the cause that I'm fighting for, and I know who I'm fighting it for. And so for me, being a paralegal and doing what I do, and I love doing what I do for Aero Consultants as well, but at the end of the day, I'm a paralegal and I love doing that, and I love working with people. Okay, I've blabbed on for like 25 minutes or something. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really does help to support my channel. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and click that bell notification to receive a notification of each time I post a video on here. Of course, good luck to you and all that you do, because this crazy legal industry needs super amazing paralegals just like you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, weekend ahead of you, and I will see you guys back here on the next one. Mwah! Bye, guys.